Hello YouTube. So a few days ago, I saw this video by a channel called Sharkheart, where they were saying they regret pulling for Wanderer. However, in the video, almost every point they made was not only false, but so blatantly false that it almost feels like they were intentionally trying to deceive people. I feel like it's very important for me to point this out, because this video has way more views than actually good Wanderer videos like Genshin Scientist's video. The comments on this video are full of people who don't know any better, thinking that Wanderer actually has these non-existent issues that he talked about in the video. So, there's no time to waste, let's just jump right into this.
Wanderer's damage is okay on its own, but other teams can do way more damage with less investment. Pairing him with a really good offensive support like Bennett will significantly increase his damage, but characters like Bennett are often much better used on other teams that are already stronger than most Wanderer teams. And while you can use characters like Layla or Toma for shielding, Wanderer won't make up for the loss in damage from not using a more offensive support.
Okay, so this is blatant misinformation. He says that other teams can do way more damage with less investment and that Bennett is better on other teams that already do more damage. But what teams is he talking about? What are these teams that are doing way more damage and being better users of Bennett? The world will never know because he never says. He just tells you this and expects you to believe it. He also shows a Hyperbloom team and claims it's doing similar damage to Wanderer, even though it very clearly isn't. If you look, you can see that at around 45 seconds into the chamber, his Wanderer is done with the two waves of wolves. And at 51 seconds into his Hyperbloom team, it still has 5 wolves remaining, and they are all still at like half their health. How is that in any sense close? Furthermore, he says that using a shielder can't make up for not using a more offensive support. This is also just wrong. Layla is Wanderer's best shield option, and she is very close in team DPS to using a buffer or sub DPS. He is again just saying completely false things without providing any way to back them up.
One passive grants him bonuses when his skill comes into contact with Pyro, Cryo, Electro, and Hydro, which on the surface seems like it would be great for damage, utility, and team versatility. But in reality, this passive often gets ignored because it's usually worse to run Wanderer as an Anemo driver instead of a character like Sucrose or Kazuha for the same reason that no one runs Zhao as an Anemo swirl driver. Because
What is he talking about? This is a complete lack of understanding of the very basics of Wanderer's kit. Wanderer's A1 has absolutely nothing to do with driving a Nemo. How this passive works is, when you cast Wanderer's skill, if it came into contact with up to 2 of the 4 swallowable elements, Wanderer will gain corresponding buffs while his skill is active. Wanderer not being used as an Nemo driver has absolutely no bearing on this passive whatsoever. There is not a single Wanderer team that ignores this passive. He literally just made that up.
but it doesn't matter because his attack's auto-targeting is really bad.
Aimlessness is not his game.
This poor auto-targeting causes him to sometimes aim in a completely different direction from your intended target. And this effect becomes more pronounced the further away the target is. So, even though Wanderer has one of the longest ranges of any Catalyst character, his range won't matter if he doesn't even aim at the enemy. The other problem with Wanderer's range is that it can be really hard to hit enemies below you. Even a gentle slope can be enough to throw off the delicate sensitivity that is Wanderer's attacks, meaning that even if enemies are close, his attacks can miss if Wanderer is slightly too high above them. This is a problem you'll encounter mostly in the overworld where the terrain is uneven, but this is also a problem on completely flat ground like domains and the Abyss. Even on completely even ground, if you ascend Wanderer slightly to avoid attacks, you might not be able to hit enemies. And
Okay, now this is where this gets so bad that this has to be a deliberate attempt to deceive people. First, he starts by showing Wanderer not aiming against the Wolf Lord while it is leaving its portal. The reason Wanderer couldn't aim at it is because Wolf Lord literally cannot be targeted by any character during that time frame. Wanderer's auto-tracking is absolutely incredible, and I'm going to show you what it actually does if you're fighting the Wolf Lord. I'm also going to show you that the exact same thing that happened to Wanderer in his footage would happen to literally anybody else. He also shows Wanderer not aiming against the Aeon Blight. This is less egregious because Wanderer's targeting can get messed up against this. However, he is fully capable of not only hitting it consistently, but also knocking it down. And even if you are struggling to hit it, just use Farozan to knock it down. Then he complains about being too high to hit enemies in the overworld. Bro, just land. They are overworld enemies. What's stopping you from just landing? Why is this a complaint? Then he talks about it happening even in domains in the Abyss, but he shows Wanderer at a completely unnatural height, way above what you get from ascending once. The only way he could have gotten that high up was if he put Wanderer on Zhongli's pillar and used his skill from there. That is so ridiculously deceptive. Why are you showing people something that they aren't going to be doing to begin with? Why are you calling it ascending slightly when that is very obviously not what you did? I'm going to show you exactly what happens if you ascend slightly to dodge.
Dare to mess with me? Gears of the store. Don't be scared. My guiding star.
Behold! Bow your head!
Dare to. The night is cold.
Squall and fury! Upon the gale! You dare to gaze upon me? Squall and fury! The wind rises. Quit following me.
Much worse than getting hit while on another character. When you get hit while in the air, there is a much longer special animation where you have to fall all the way down and then float back up in the air again, and you will have to experience this over and over and over again. I can't count the number of times I've been spamming buttons trying to do some sort of tech fault to recover early from a knockdown, but you can't. You just have to fall all the way down and then float back up again, and if you get hit again, you have to fall all the way back down again and then float up again and again and again and again. And of course you may say, haha, get good and
This is another blatant lie. I refuse to believe this guy has somehow had Wanderer for like, what, 8 months now? And claims he has repeatedly tried to do a fall tech, yet didn't think to press the exact same button that every other character uses to recover from interruption. When characters get interrupted, you can press the dash button to recover. Wanderer is the exact same. You absolutely do not have to fall all the way down and get all the way back up like he claims in this video. Just press the dash button exactly like you do with anyone else.
Zhongli is really your only good choice, as the 4-star characters like Toma, Layla, Diona, and the like run into uptime issues with Wanderer, and like we said before in the damage section, his damage is good, but it's not amazing unless it's really hyper-invested, so Wanderer usually isn't able to make up for the damage from an offensive support if you bring a shield character instead. And
This doesn't make any sense. Zhongli is absolutely not the only good shield option for Wanderer, nor is he even the best. He says characters like Toma and Layla run into uptime issues, which is just wrong. Toma literally has more uptime than Zhongli. Zhongli lasts 20 seconds, and Toma's shielding lasts up to 24 seconds. His burst lasts 18 seconds, but the shield itself lasts 6 seconds, so after his burst ends, you still have 6 seconds of shield remaining. Layla's shield lasts 12 seconds, so depending on when she's using the rotation, you can have a couple of seconds without her shield up, but those seconds should be spent in an iframe for Wanderer's burst, so it doesn't even matter.
except that it is actually easier for Wanderer to get hit in the air than it is for other characters to get hit while on the ground. Wanderer.
This also doesn't make any sense. He goes on from here explaining that Wanderer's hitbox is bigger than it looks. That may be true, but it doesn't equate to him being easier to hit than other characters. What attacks are going to hit him that any other character wouldn't have also been hit by? After this, he basically starts making very weird statements about Hoyo's scamming you with Wanderer's animations. And it's all just a bunch of weird things that don't make any sense, so I'm not even going to bother directly responding to those. But I hope today's video helped dispel any misinformation you may have received from Shark's video. If you appreciated today's video, please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please also leave a comment below letting me know your thoughts. Thanks. Bye.